everybody, Sean from Movie Assault here, and it is time once again for another movie review. This time out, I wanted to take a look at Knock at the Cabin, which was co-written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan, who is responsible for such movies as The Sixth Sense, Old, Lady in the Water, The Village, Signs, and depending on where you've come in on his career, you may like or dislike his films. Earlier in his career, he seemed to be a much stronger filmmaker. Lately, most of his films can be summed up in the word disappointing, if nothing else. But the premises to his films always are interesting. And this one in particular, when I saw the trailer, I thought, okay, I'll make an effort to see that one. I didn't quite make it to the theater to see it, but I did see it now that it is streaming on Peacock, and thought I would share my thoughts with you guys. The premise of the film centers around a cabin in the woods, which is rented as like an Airbnb type of thing by a gay couple, Eric and Andrew, played by Jonathan Groff and Ben Aldridge. And they have their adopted daughter, Wen, who is played by Kristen Cui, I believe is how you pronounce her last name, or Cui. The cabin is approached by four strangers led by Leonard, who is played by Dave Bautista, and they have an interesting proposition that they make to Eric and Andrew, and that is if Eric and Andrew and Wen don't decide which of them they will sacrifice, the end of humanity is nigh. And it's a very interesting premise. I won't get into too much specifics because I don't want to spoil anything. But excellent performances all around from everybody involved, especially Dave Bautista. Ben Aldridge and Jonathan Groff are great. Kristen Cui is great. The actors who play the remainder of the group include Rupert Grint from the Harry Potter films, Abby Quinn, and Nikki Amuka Bird is the other lady's name. She plays Sabrina. Leonard Dave Bautista is a huge guy, and Leonard, of course, is a huge guy. He's this hulking, tattooed, he looks like he would rip your arms off, but he kind of disarms you because he has this super kindly, soft-mannered approach. So you expect him to be very gruff and very almost violent, and he's like a little puppy dog, and it's a great performance, very nuanced. Dave Bautista seems to surprise me in every movie that I've seen him in. He was great, of course, as Drax in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. In Hotel Artemis, he was great. Bushwick, I think it was made in 2017, he was also very good in. I can't say enough about his performance in this film, and if you don't need any other reason to see this film, I would say see it for his performance. The film itself is a bit of a letdown, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but what I'm going to talk about is the ending, but I'm not going to give anything away. I'm just going to talk a little bit about how the movie ends versus how the book ends. This was based on a book by Paul Tremblay called Cabin at the End of the World, and I didn't read the book, but I spoiled the book for myself, and I found out what the ending of the book was, and I compared it to what the ending of the movie is, and I wish the movie would have ended the way the book ended. I won't say what that ending is, but I think that people who read the book would be disappointed with this movie if they liked the ending of the book. But again, I won't spoil what that is. But I did have a problem with the ending because the impact of the ending, whether it would be the one that was in the book or the one that's in the actual movie, really depends on your attachment to the characters, the supposed good guys of this film. And that would be Eric and Andrew. And unfortunately, and I think it's because of the performance of Dave Bautista, not that there's anything wrong with Jonathan Groff or Ben Aldridge's performance or Kristen Cui's, but Dave Bautista's performance and his character is so much more interesting than theirs. I cared more about him than I did the main characters of the film. And when the movie got down to the end, where I was supposed to care about Eric and Andrew, I didn't, and the ending just didn't mean as much to me, and I think that's why I think this film was a big disappointment. The end, I think, was supposed to have this big emotional like impact. I kept waiting for there to be a big twist, and there really wasn't. And maybe that was the twist, that there was no twist. But at the end, I just kind of walked away and went, okay, then. And that's really not how you want to feel when you walk away from a movie that has such an interesting premise as this. So I can't really describe it as anything other than a disappointment. But like I said, the performances all around are fantastic. It's just really in the script department that I had an issue. But it really had me up until the very end. I was hooked. I really loved where it was going. I wouldn't say that I was sitting on the edge of my seat, but I was really invested in this film. And the ending really just kind of knocked the wind out of the sails of the film. So, yeah. So I'm going to give Knock at the Cabin a 5 out of 10, and most of that 5 is totally based on my enjoyment of Dave Bautista's performance. Again, everybody else was great, but this is just sort of a disappointing movie. So that's my review of Knock at the Cabin from 2023. As always, if you've made it this far into the video, I really appreciate you watching till the end. If you are new to the channel, this is kind of what I do here. And if you like what you saw, please consider subscribing and giving me a thumbs up on the video. And if you're really interested, click that notification bell and you'll get notified when I upload a new video. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Take it easy.